Assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace, peace, hotep, peace to the streets. I'm your brother, active in the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. Brother Minister Alif and the Day family. I got the messenger's message that will guide you through this age of mess. We great go in today. Now, I was in the secret vaults. I told you I got them Jews. I got something for y'all. Know what I mean? Instead of hiding, I'm gonna divide it. Know what I mean? I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna give it to you free. Know what I mean? I'm gonna share this jewel with y'all, and I'm learning technology, so y'all gotta be patient with your brother. You know what I mean? I'm a little slow with the technology. You know what I mean? I was in the devil's belly of the beast all my life, so I'm just learning all this kind of stuff. But I'm already about 2.5 generations ahead of the average person when it comes to this technology. I mean, so I'm a master it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get it down to a science. When I get my system in place, world, watch out. But right now, I found something from the messenger from 1934. Think about the year, 1934. This is when, politically, the messenger is coming into himself. Not just the Savior, but his role in the prophecies. He's seeing himself in the Bible. He's seeing himself in the Quran. He's seeing himself in the Nation of Islam. Like, oh, this is my role. Okay. Know what I mean? You know, he was a humble man. Know what I mean? The nation had fly ministers, tall ministers, college graduate ministers, loud ministers. Know what I mean? Intelligent brothers that could teach. Know what I mean? And Master Muhammad used to let them go in and pick who they wanted. You know what I mean? They always pick the flyest guy. You know what I mean? You know how that go. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the Nation of Islam, you have a lot of strong ministers in the Nation of Islam. But, you know what I mean? It's like hip hop. You know what I mean? Image is everything. Packaging, you know what I mean? Like you got people that can sing, but they may not have the right look. You know what I mean? So our people in the 1930s, you know what I mean, seeing a dark-skinned Marcus Messiah Garvey, the nation was projecting light-skinned leadership. You know what I mean? Like, look at the messenger, light-skinned. Malcolm had green eyes. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan, Nuri, Ishmael. Our people need to see something that is going to allow them to be able to listen to the message. This is why Master Muhammad's father and his uncles was like, we can't send a pure black man into a pure white nation. America is so racist that they ain't gonna really listen to somebody that don't have the right look. Now, I mean, you know, like a strong black woman, dark-skinned sister, white folks look at her like she's the angry witch. And the Bible says what? Thou shalt not suffer a witch or a bee to live. They will kill you. You know what I mean? You know, if you had somebody like Brother Minister Akbar, a Dr. Khalid, these brothers can teach. I mean, these brothers is flames of fire, but too black, too strong. I mean, you know, so you gotta be careful in the politics of all this stuff. Know what I mean? You know, but this jewel here contains a lot of insights. Know what I mean? You know, I'm gonna give you a brief, so I'm gonna read it word for word. In fact, what I'm gonna do, inshallah Sakin, if it's the will of the God in person, I'm gonna take a crystal clear picture of each page and put it in the video feed. I know how to do some little stuff. Put it in the video feed, but it's too long to read online, so I'm not going to have people just waiting to read it. Then again, I might be able to do that at the end of the video. Yeah, I just read through the video real quick, And at the end, you'll be able to read it yourself. That's what I'll do, inshallah, Sakir, word for word. But what I was really thinking, or you had an option, you could simply take a picture of the picture and print it out. If you got a printer at home, or go to the public library, you can just go on Gmail, and you might have to use a password in the public library or whatever, and just print it out for like 10, 25 cents, something like that per page. You know what I mean? Or you can email me at ministeralif@gmail.com, and I just email you a copy for free. All right. So these is the summary. All right. One, in 1934, the message is going to explain that our fathers, the black men, are law. He's teaching that the laws of black man back in 1934. So that all this spooky stuff you hear nowadays, all these hadiths, all this technology you hear people, all these experts and all, if they not quoting from you, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like, come on, man. I mean, not nowadays. I mean, so this is the thing that you have to understand. A lot of people say stuff because they want you to think that they are smart. See, I'm not telling you what I got to say. I'm giving you what I think the messenger is smart. See, all that 4th grade education. I'm like, man, this man is the second wisest man on earth next to Master Father Muhammad Almighty God himself. I mean, it's like, do he know Latin and that? No, he don't know all that. Is that necessary? No. I mean, do the ants need to know how to communicate with a bee? No, it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? So 99% of the universe is irrelevant in the universal order of things. You have to know your lane. You have to know your role in the universal order of things and know what role you play. You know what I mean? So we're going to find that out, that Allah refers to all black men, not some mystery God in the sky. We're going to find out that 1914 is the end of the devil's rule. I always like to qualify things because people be like, Elijah Muhammad was wrong, his prophecy was wrong, because they're not looking at it in context. When he say 1914 is the end of all who do that wickedness, what he's talking about was 1914 was the end of the devil's time. However, he's not going to get into this in 1934, but he's going to explain later on, years later, decades later, basically the devil's it's in the Bible, it's in the messenger teaches, in Theology of Time, is in my books and stuff like that. Short version, he's saying 1972 in Theology of Time. You look it up yourself. 1914, the devil's time was up. They was given 60 years of grace. The Bible say 3 score. Score means 20. 20 is 3 20s, 20, 40, 60s. That's 60 years hitting out of the mark of the beast. So 60 years was hidden from the devils, not to exceed 70. Jerusalem falls and all that kind of stuff. The 70 years, 1914 plus 60 years is 1974. What happens in 1974? That happened to be the last Saviour's Day of the Most High Elijah Muhammad. Not to exceed 70 years brings us to what? 1984. What happens 1985? Saviour's Day. Supreme angels are born. All right, so everything is happening on time and with time. All right, so in 1934, we're going to also find important jewel. Now people talk about the 24 scientists, this, that, and the other. The messenger tells us, when you read your Bible, that man you see in the Bible known as Daniel, that's one of the 23 scientists. Historically, like Daniel in the Bible, when he physically was on earth and he was a prisoner in the penitentiary, they threw him in the lion's den, all that stuff. He was one of the 23 scientists. He was the one eating Navy bean soup back then. I mean, he was a vegan, back then. So in my books, I break down that whole book of Daniel to you, Dan and El, So there's a whole science to the God, But Daniel, the message going to teach us, is one of the 23 scientists. When you read about the angels, a lot of people are like, I probably talking about this angel stuff. Spoiler alert. In this article, the message is going to explain to y'all and me, to we and us, the you and I that actually Master Fard Muhammad is the angel Michael or Michael that you read about in prophecy. Okay, so the angel Michael is going to be revealed as Master Fard Muhammad. He's spoken of in the Bible, the book of Jude, the first chapter, 9th verse, as the archangel. The reason I'm saying this 1934 teachings. How many times have you heard brothers and sisters teaching that Master Fard Muhammad is an angel? Think about it. This is why I say the messenger's message will, if you don't understand the mathematics and get the messenger's original divine and direct teachings, you're really going to be missing a lot of stuff. Like you're going to be limited because the messenger books, the messenger be like, if he was physically alive, he'd be like, I didn't write them books. I didn't write Message to the Black Man. I didn't write The Fall of America. Messenger be like, I didn't write I'll say it's right. He like, my staff, the laborers did that. Some of the stuff he like, I didn't even have the idea to do it. I mean, Supreme Secretary John Ali, all of them was geniuses. The Messenger Secretary, they all was loyal geniuses. They had faults like we got faults. Everybody got faults.
Come on in, brother. Praise be to Allah. He was dead, but now he's alive. Yes, sir. Come on in, brother. Yes, sir. Have a seat, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will follow. Put him on the ground. Coming of God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad and teaching to you and me that he had such to us as is written. Yes, sir. Now he has found us. Now what must be done? We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. We want to thank the Chicago white people for making it possible for us to obtain the country club, for making it possible for us to get in such position where we can prove ourselves worthy of that position. Yes, sir. We thank them. They have did us a great favor. Yes, sir. I don't think that we have nothing to do but to honor and thank them for putting us in such position. Yes, sir. This is their house. And we're here teaching the truth. Yes, sir. That's right. They're not objecting to you teaching the truth. As we have white Muslims in America. And lots of them. We have them all over the world. Yes, sir. And they recognize and respect you. That's right. Go ahead, dear Father. You must recognize and respect them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But they love the messenger. They push the program. They help build this nation. You can't take that from none of them. Know what I mean? They got this literature in our hands that we got today. Know what I mean? So the messenger books is actually compilations of his speeches, writings, articles, interviews, newspaper articles, whatever. You know what I mean? And they just compiled it, but they edited a lot of that stuff. And on that side, they need to edit it because the message used to teach sometimes 4 or 6 hours. So you can't put, the books would have been like an encyclopedia of literature. We got the condensed version, Blessed Black Man for America. I was there, Supreme Wisdom Book 1 and 2. That's like the tip of the Supreme Wisdom iceberg, if you will. That behind the scenes literature, that's what y'all really want to get into. All right, he explained how Moses was a half original man in this article. That Master Fard Muhammad is the second coming of Jesus. You know, everybody want to be Jesus. Everybody want to be the Mahdi, the Messiah, the Son of Man. They plagiarizing God's. They trying to put God's crown on. They trying to put the messenger's shoes on. No, you know what I mean? They are not worthy. You know what I mean? The 24 scientists tossed their crowns to that lamb as though he was slain before the altar of God. You know what I mean? So we know who's who and what is what in prophecy. All right. Now, it's 1934, so he's going to use the language that Fard Muhammad is the prophet. Okay, so that's an important nuance, if you will, that you're going to notice. He explained that he was born in 1877, that he studied for 42 years to prepare himself to teach us, that he is a Qari, or he knows the Holy Quran by heart. You know what I mean? And he tells the life of every prophet that appeared before him, and that works from the cradle to the grave without consulting any books, showing that he was born to do this work and not made by schools. See, when you have that universal law vibration in your heart, now I mean, like Islam is literally in your heart, like it's now I mean, it's connected to your reptilian brain. Now I mean, your thoughts traveling 24 billion miles per second. Now I mean, I'll be telling y'all about that B12. Now I mean, from the tip of your toe to your heart to your reptilian brain to that pineal gland. This is how the gods make it happen. Now I mean, it's like you throw them in any circumstance, those thoughts will go through prison bars, through the flood of propaganda, through poverty, through hatred, through jealousies, and you could literally send a determined idea out there, and it'll find its target, hit them, and kill them with a thought. Just a thought. You kill them politically, physically, emotionally, psychologically. I mean, that's the power of blessing someone or chastising them. That power exists in every black man and woman on the face of this planet, in and outside the Nation of Islam. Now, I mean, you're going to learn, and it's important here. I like to touch on this for a second, because this is a crucial overlooked element right here. All right. When we talk about the 24 scientists, short version, these 24 scientists was limited. The 24 scientists was limited in his knowledge of the previous 24 scientists. Meaning, if you had one of the 24 scientists, they lived on average like 500 years physically on the planet Earth. Some may live 100 years, but some might live 600, but on average, they lived about 500 years. All right, say he was 480 years old and he knew his lessons, whatever. You know what I mean? Talking to him, his language would be so mathematical that you knew he was a scientist. However, he would not be able to tell you about the 24 scientists that came before him. He could not tell you what happened 50,000 years ago. You see how if you talk to white scientists, white historians, Afrocentric historians, Egyptologists, all of our greats, you know what I mean? You notice that they'll just throw out some belief stuff like, oh yeah, the civilization is 100,000 years old. They're absolutely guessing. They have no empirical evidence of it whatsoever. All that, the atoms, all those theories of how they calculate the age, all that's, it's helpful, but it's just that, a theory. It does not really work like that. You know what I mean? It's not a science. It's a pseudoscience, a helpful pseudoscience, best technology we can use right now. But none of the historians can take you beyond a certain period. You see, they run into this wall. Like when they be like, okay, well, we know, Egypt came from Nubia. They don't know much about Nubia, so they'd be like, ignore Nubia. We just gonna focus on Egypt. No, Egypt is a new nation. Egypt ain't the oldest. Just like, come on. And this is the spooky stuff that our people go through. Know what I mean? Because here you got this giant desert. Those that know science would realize the oil under the sand in Saudi Arabia used to be trees and living animals. That's what oil is. It's carbon. I mean, so if I'm looking at another planet and I see all the sand over here and I see grasslands over here, I'd be like, you don't have to tell me this area is way older than this area. I mean, it's like, I'd be like, hold on, sweep that sand away from Saudi Arabia and all that. Sweep all that sand away from ancient Babylon, Iraq. Sweep all that sand away from ancient Persia or Iran or what have you. You know what I mean? Sweep the sand away from Yemen and all. They'd be like, man, these black people got temples and pyramids and teaches that the black man is God, that makes Egypt and Nubia and everything we know of today seem like mere child's play. I mean, that's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we love ancient Kemet. I mean, we love Nubia and Azania and Kush or Ethiopia, but those civilizations, you're really like guessing after 7,000 years. I mean, after 7,000 years, and I'm really stretching it when I say 7,000 years. So the 24 scientists, they only knew what happened for 25,000 years. Now, they had records or they had writings that was preserved indefinitely. See, this is where you hear people talk about the atom of mind. Now, I mean, they're able to take and send a thought and write a text that they could read today as though it was written yesterday, but it'll be like 76 trillion years old. So you're literally talking about the black man as God in every level. I mean, so Master Fard Muhammad is unique even to the 24 scientists, because his father, Al-Banza Shabazz, would be like, son, I don't know what happened 50,000 years ago. It's like, you said they left this part and moved over to this part of Asia, and I mean, in the jungles and all. They didn't know that Master Fard Muhammad knew that. Now, I mean, they'd be like, whoa, we can study in the secret vaults of Mecca and get some jewels on certain stuff, But Master Muhammad was unique because he was teaching without consulting any books. Now, I mean, he teaches us the past from histories, but as one whom seems to have been at the scene of the happening. Now, basically, what we have here is Master Muhammad, using the atom of mind, in his mind's eye, he can tell you why the black God tried to kill everyone on earth 66 trillion years ago and how he made the moon. Systematically, like how far how far the moon blasted away from the earth before the water was absorbed back to this part, where it came from, how much it weighed, I mean, how fast it traveled, now, I mean, how far it is away right now, what's the circumference, what's the diameter, what's the radius, what's the age of it, how old the sun is, when did we put stars in the sky? People like, the pyramids is lined up with, it's like, man, we put the stars up there. I mean, it's like, we ain't just built the pyramids down here, we built the stars up there, we built Orion's belt. I mean, the Holy Quran said we made the stars. The Quran don't say Allah made the stars. The Quran don't say I made the stars. It said we and us. We made the stars. We made the Najm. There be a light. There be a light. There. Cracking atoms is in the mind and power and the natural ability of black men worldwide. And we're waking back up. Notice that the reality of the black man being God is catching on. Now, I mean, it's going to really catch on when we start getting some money. I mean, sad to say this is the devil's world, but I ain't worrying about no physical money. My thing is we need the spiritual money. See, the 24 scientists put it like this. First seek ye the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness, and everything else be added to you. You won't need a Rolls Royce. You won't need a $100 bill. You won't need a credit card. You won't need a checkbook. You won't need a bank. You won't need the Fed. I mean, you will have a whole new black world order. There will be no physical money being used. I mean, we'll have a socialist system. Everybody will do that part. If you're handicapped, we'll take care of you. If you're an elder, if you're a healthy, strong man and you fell and got injured some kind of way, now technology could not heal you, which I doubt. Now, I mean, everything will be everything will be balanced out. Now, I mean, there'll be no beef between the black man and the black woman. You know what I mean? It'll be none of that masculine energy and feminine energy stuff. It'll be the universal law of gender. There will be balance. There will be no protons and electrons. There will be balance. There'll be no good and evil, no gods and devils. There'll be no black and brown gene in us. You will not be able to graft another devil. Know what I mean? None of that kind of stuff. Master Muhammad gave us some powerful, powerful teachings. And we're just getting started today. The other Jew you're going to learn in here, his father is a black man, but his mother is a Jewish. The white pure woman was a Jew, integrated marriage to a pure black Arab. Okay. So stuff that you hear today is not even the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Kosher food is halal food. Muslim food, Jewish food is the same. Not the white Jews coming from the black Jews. The Italians, the Jews, the French, the Russians, the Americans. Everything the white man and woman is came out of black men and women. Every idea they had, not some, every idea they had, good or evil. Our lesson says what? It all proceeds from Allah. It all came from black people. All of the books, the Meta Netta, the Book of the Dead, the Torah, your Bibles, your Qurans, your Buddhism, your Hinduism, Taoism, all of it is nothing but the records and the oral traditions of black folks, our ancestors, pioneers. That's all the spooky stuff you see. I'm talking about all of it is crap. Everything you know, we're going to turn the world upside down. Everything you know today, you're going to have to relearn it. I mean, it's sad, but this is the reality that we're dealing with. But You gotta understand when you're dealing with that God consciousness, you know, you're no longer mentally dead. A day would be like 1,000 years. I mean, see, 66 trillion years. When you thinking like God, you be like, the devil was only given 6,000 years rule. Why y'all crying? Stop crying. They ain't do nothing but what we told them to do. They didn't do anything but what we made them to do. They didn't do anything but what we determined they could not but do. So if you mad at anybody, you gotta be mad at yourself. They came out of you. That's your seed. That's what was in us. We just put it on earth and gave it form so we could get the actual experience. Now that we got the actual experience, we're like, oh yeah, we'll never grab another one of these KVs. It's not happening again. You know what I mean? So, Master Muhammad used to dance with water on his head, but it's another scientific wonder. See, we don't believe in miracles. We believe in mathematical wonders. See, when you know real mathematics, see, let me tell you one thing about the devil. The devil, our 24 science, the message teaches us we hid certain musical notes from the devils. The message said if the devil could get certain musical notes, they could move the pyramid stones. Know what I mean? They could control physics. You know how they'd be like, somebody be like, whoa, and that sound wave traveling 1,120 feet per second can shatter crystal. Know what I mean? And, you know, it's a science to how we mathematically use these teachings. So it's like water, we're born inside of a bag of water. Like in your mother's womb for 9 months, you're inside some water. I mean, like a alien, like an astronaut or something. You're inside a water set. Before that, you're in your father's testicles in water. Before that, you're in the vegetables. You're in the H2O. You're in the water. You're in the ocean swimming around as a little amoeba. You're in the atmosphere as atoms of hydrogen. You're water. We're water-based people. So Master Muhammad, in his wisdom, was able to show certain members of the Nation of Islam themselves in a glass of physical water. You see how you're looking at me right now? You're looking at me through electromagnetic energy. You're plasma, these pixels, it's Wi-Fi. And now, I mean, it's signals, but it crystallizes into an image. You could do that with water too. Now, I mean, you could literally, you got people that's not just reading tea leaves. I mean, so it's a real science, but there's a pseudoscience that always follows the real science. The majority of the pseudoscientists confuses the real science. But the real science want the pseudoscience to act like they know what they're talking about. So they let the pseudoscience do that tricknology, because if certain information get out, people are so Europeanized. They're so rooted in capitalism, they'll use certain information in the wrong way. Now, I mean, imagine if you was like, somebody be like, you got cancer? All right, read this book for the next 7 days. Don't watch no TV. I want you to blindfold yourself and do not look at anything. I do not want you to physically talk for 1 week, 7 exact days. And I want you to take these 7 herbs. Do not eat anything. I want you to drink this liquid. It's not water, but I want you to only drink this liquid for 7 days and heal thyself. You ain't got to do, your body, your temple, God's temple will heal itself. If I took a match and burnt my skin, I took a cigarette, burned it, took a razor, cut it, and it's bleeding, and you look at it, and the blood dripping, the atoms are going there and heal it. How is it healing it? Because I ate to live. Because I'm thinking to live. I'm exercising to live. My being cannot be destroyed. It'll heal itself. It's a science to that. You know what I mean? So Master Fard Muhammad makes people appear in a glass of clear water. So you're going to hear the messenger teaching some jewels on that. And the other deep jewel is Master Fard Muhammad. You used to hear me say this a lot. This is where I got this from. In fact, let me show it to y'all. A lot of people think I be lying. Master Fard Muhammad despises witchcraft and root doctors. They are all liars. If they're not teaching you how to eat the live, now let me clarify this, because I don't want you to get confused with what Master Fard Muhammad don't mean. This is 1934. Root doctors is basically devils and that imps are impersonators. You got a lot of people that will feed you bull crap. Not because they care about your health, but they trying to get the money out your pocket. You know what I mean? So don't think that Master Fard Muhammad is condemning people, say like a Dr. Saviour, for example. No, it's like, his salute Dr. Saviour. Like, Dr. Saviour, he'd be like, I was sicker than a mug. I went to Master Fard Muhammad's student, Elijah Muhammad. He the one that taught me to be a vegan. Elijah Muhammad taught Dr. Saviour to eat to live. He like, I just got deep into it in Mexico, but the messenger is the one that healed him. So it ain't no hate for me. I love Dr. Saviour. You know what I mean? You know, some of the stuff he say I absolutely don't agree with, but I don't agree with no one 100%. I don't agree with me 100%. I mean, you know, so you have to be able to take the best parts. You take the best parts of Dr. Khalid, the best parts of Malcolm, the best part of Mr. Fard, best parts of Silas, the best parts of the Message, the best part of the Bible, the best part of the Hebrew, best part of Pan-African, the best part of the devil. You know what I mean? Anything that can help you build, you build. Anything you need to destroy, you destroy. Anything you need to separate, you repel, you repel. Anything you need to attract, you attract. Now, I mean, this is how the gods, this is how the atoms, this is how ants, this is how fish, this is how birds, this is how the universe seeks Mayat. That's all it does. Now, I mean, and to the gods, they don't think the way mortals think. I mean, you know, so these, this witchcraft and root doctors in plain language would be like, say, I'm just using it for hypothetical. Say you had somebody, they'd be like, I got diabetes. I'm taking diet pills to lose weight. This sister had breast cancer, so the doctor had to cut her breasts off and give her radiation treatment. That's witchcraft. Those staring brews and chemo and taking bark from trees and hiding the bark and hiding the roots and hiding the leaves and hiding the fruit and hiding these natural medicines and giving you all these cocktails and pills and potions and formulas and cough syrups, and you're like, oh, these is root doctors. See, the witchcraft and the root doctors is like the cremators and the nurses on the island of Peeland. They're the modern day so-called healthcare system. They know how to cure any disease. However, ain't no money in curing you. Ain't no money in teaching you how to heal thyself. That's you crazy. They be like, do you know how much money hospitals and surgeons and all that make? Now, I mean, they like, do you know how many jobs would be lost if you didn't get sick? I mean, if you didn't eat to die instead of eating it, they'd be like, nah, we are not trying to have a healthy anything. Ain't no fun in that. Ain't no moolah in that. Ain't no cheddar in that. Ain't no money in that. I mean, the money is in keeping you mentally dead. But the 10% is pissed because the 5%, the poor righteous teachers, are waking the people up. Know what I mean? So I'm going to read this real quick. And if I forget to put this in there, somebody please send me an email to ministeralif@gmail.com and remind me to take the actual pictures and put it at the end. I think I could do it. I'm not too sure about being able to read the whole thing online. What I'm gonna do for convenience sake for everybody, because I don't want to make the video real long, and I'm just running my mouth real briefly. So what I'll do is I'll put it each page for like maybe 5-10 minutes or something. And the good thing is you can always stop it on your phone or tablet and just read that one page. You could freeze it and just read it or whatever. Know what I mean? So let's get into this week. Know what I mean? The Department of Supreme Wisdom. The title is just Awake. Just one word, awake. By Elijah Muhammad. This is when he spelled the Mohammed. That's the 1934 way. All right. O give ear, all you lost found of the nation of Islam in the wilderness of North America, the 17 million black Asiatics. Awake out of the sleep of ignorance and the death of misunderstanding, and hear, see, and believe. Rejoice and be glad, for he who we have longed for and prayed that he would come to our rescue and deliver us from our oppressor, the devil, the American white man, has come. On the 4th of July, 1930, this great deliverer and savior of the lost sheep of Islam arrived to Detroit, going by the name of Master Wallace D. Fard, and began to awake his people to the knowledge and understanding of themselves and their fathers for 3 years. Most of the people are unaware of their deliverer, that he was here, selecting his people, taking away the name of the devil. All that came to the knowledge and understanding of themselves and their fathers, Allah. You heard that? Let me read it again. See, y'all be missing the Lamb when he dropped them jewels. See, the Lamb is share something and people just overlook it. Be like, oh, he's not as eloquent as Malcolm. Malcolm and them can't touch no message. Farrakhan and them, Dr. Khalid, they ain't got nothing on the most symbolizer. You crazy? I mean, they articulate. They got that self-styled wisdom. Now, I mean, love them to death. But if I want to get a take, like I could get some inspiration from Malcolm. Now, I mean, that Millicent, Farrakhan is just the most beautiful speaker I ever heard in the universe. You know, he's just an angel. That's Farrakhan. Now, I mean, you know, that's Khan means to lead. That's the angel's leader right there. So, you know, he could teach better than anyone. Now, I mean, Dr. Khalid is going to spit that fire. That Dr. Khalid had you ready to strap up like, let's go. I mean, you know, so everyone play that role. Now, I mean, you know, it's like you know, and it's all necessary. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the only one that was taught for 3 years and 4 months directly by the Supreme Allah God who came to person of Master Muhammad. He's the one that made his tongue. Now, I mean, not Aaron. I mean, not Harun. All right, let us continue. I want you to peep this Jew, how he dropped this in here about Allah being our Father. Going by the name of Master Wallace D. Fard, and began to awake his people to the knowledge and understand themselves and their fathers for 3 years. Most of the people are unaware of their deliverer, that he was here, selecting his people, taking away the name of the devil. All that came to the knowledge and understanding of themselves and their fathers, Allah, and giving them the name of their father, Allah, the great nation of the black man, Islam, teaching we, the American black people, who we are, who the devil is, who is God and the sole owner of the planet Earth and the sun, moon, and stars, when the devil was made and by whom, and how long he has to live, and says that his time was out in 1914 and that 1934 is the end of all that do his wickedness. The devil will be destroyed, and all those who believe in his civilization and his religion, which is called Christianity. The Holy Quran in the Bible proves his words beyond a reasonable doubt, which I will give you. Prophets' predictions of the mighty deliverer, the last of them all from the Bible. Then compare his works and his prophecy, and you will quickly believe and agree with me that this man is your Savior and the shepherd of the sheep of Islam. You will agree with me that 1914 marked the complete downfall of the devil's civilization. In that war, every Christian nation of the planet Earth was involved. This is prophesied by Jesus in Matthew chapter 24, the 24th chapter and the 7th verse, in these words, quote, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." Some of you might not understand when we say Christian nations, but we mean all white or Europeans. This is not the holy war because Islam was not involved. The 8th verse of the same chapter says, all these things are the beginning of sorrows. Ever since 1914, there have been the most troublesome times. There has been the most troublesome years, such as man never witnessed before. All the rulers of Christendom, ever since that war, have been trying to establish peace among themselves, but have failed. And now they are preparing for war as never before. In this great time of trouble, Daniel, the prophet, says in chapter 2 of the 44th verse, "And in the days of these kings shall the God of the heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." Daniel then says in the 12th chapter in the 1st verse, which reads thus, quote, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book." Now, let us see who was Daniel. The messenger's words. Who was Daniel? Who was his people? Who is this Michael, the great prince that the prophets referred to? Daniel the prophet was an original black man, one of 23 scientists. Let me stop right there, fam. Let that sink in. Let marinate on that for a moment. You know how you might see a biblical story about Daniel, in the lion's den. You may read in the Bible about Daniel, all this mathematics in there. You know what I mean? Daniel was in that circle of the 24 scientists. He wasn't the 24 scientists, but he was one of the 23 scientists. Now, I don't give you belief over knowledge. Some things you have to infer, but we don't know if the messenger is saying that Daniel was one of the 12 major scientists, because it's 24, but we know he wasn't the 24th scientist, but he was one of the 23 scientists. He didn't say if he was one of the 12 minor or one of the 11 majors, but he definitely was in that circle of the 23. I'm going to read it again, word for word. Daniel the prophet was an original black man, one of the 23 scientists. Thus, this man Daniel, seeing his people, now he see us today. This man Daniel, seeing his people, the 17 million black Americans, suffering in slavery under the hands of the American white man at the great time of trouble when the devil's kingdom, white man's, would be crumbling to pieces from 1914 to 1934, when it will never rise again. As Almighty Allah has said, then who is this Michael? He can be none other than our Savior. Who is this Michael? He can be none other than our Savior. Who is this Michael? He can be none other than our Savior. Who is this Michael? He can be none other than our Savior, Allah, who came right in the midst of trouble in July 1930. In 1929, when Wall Street went and collapsed, the white devil millionaires withdrew their money from the banks. Some deposited their money in Asia. So said the prophet, while others hid their treasures at home, because these big bankers could see what is coming upon the nations. So they and their treasures are fleeing to Asia Minor, trying to escape the coming fires of Almighty Allah. Let's pause there for a moment. You know, in the hood, you got a lot of ghetto versions and interpretations of stuff. Now, I mean, you know, like when I was a child, I used to always hear they was like, yeah, when Wall Street collapsed, the rich people was jumping out windows and stuff like that. Now, I mean, when you do the science on that pseudo stuff, you find out that's not true. You know what I mean? You know, that really wasn't the case. But as the messenger who was there accurately puts it, like, nah, them jokers wasn't jumping out the windows, but they was jumping that money out that window. They was taking that money out them American banks, putting it over in them Asiatic banks. Like, yo, they understood that the Federal Reserve is really the 10%, the rich, the slave makers, of the poor. These jokers is manipulating the world's economies. The world banks is these banks, and under them, these corporations, like the presidents, the kings, the religious leaders, these is peons compared to the 10%. They look at that like, come on, man. They 85s and they like, we ain't worried about them. Know what I mean? But they are underestimating that supreme Allah God that came right in that midst on that independence on Jumar. Master Muhammad started teaching on Jumar Friday, July 4th, 1930 was a Friday. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? So that wisdom that he used in declaring black independence on their white independence, his wisdom in saying, okay, you know, he said in the Messenger said in his last book, do I have it in here? No, I don't have it in here. But short version. The Messenger said in his last book, Our Sayers Arrived, 1974, he explained to us that America is the place where heaven will be built. This is the hereafter. Y'all didn't get that, did y'all? America, after 390 years of burning, 610 years of cooling off, there will be everything made new. The Bible teaches in Revelations that God makes new things. Everything new. All the old stuff becomes new. He's not making new creations. He's just taking the old creation and reproducing in such a way that we think it's all new. Like we look at the sky right now, it's black. When you look at the sky in the future, it's going to be clear. It's going to be light. You're not going to have a sun. Read the book of Revelation. There will be no sun in the temple. There will be no moon. There will be no stars. There will be no crowns. All of them, you see how you mess had a crown? You don't need that no more. In the beginning, we didn't have no sun, moon, and stars. We didn't have no sun in the sky. We didn't have no moon in the sky. That sun is only 78 trillion years old. The atoms was there 84 trillion years ago. We was here before the sun. The star is only 72 trillion years old. All the stars that make up the whole galaxy covering 157 quintillion miles, none of them is older than 72 trillion. They wasn't here 73 trillion. You look up at the sky, there was not a Milky Way galaxy. There wasn't a constellation. There was no Orion's. There was not one star in the sky 72 trillion years ago. It was just all black. And you had the reflection of the moon 66 trillion years ago. So at that time, we used the planet Mars as a moon. Mars wasn't a planet. Mars used to be our moon, according to Messenger Elijah Muhammad. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves into the 72 trillion year history because we did that in various books, what have you. Let me continue reading this Supreme Wisdom by Messenger Elijah Muhammad in a way. Okay. So the devils basically took that money out of the banks because they was panicking. I mean, they got the bear in the bull market. Now, I mean, they like, dad, the market is falling apart. You know what I mean? Let me get my money out of here. You know what I mean? Because they understood, keep in mind, like back in the day, nowadays, it'd be like FDIC is short for each individual account. You know what I mean? You put your fiat money in there, the government be like, somebody robbed the bank, it go under, it go bankrupt, we'll back you up for like $250,000, whatever, for each account. You know what I mean? But back then, the bank folded just fold. That's why they needed a black president. That's why Obama came in and had to bail the banks out. I mean, he had to sit down with the chairman of the Fed because he seen like, yo, the devil's time is up, meaning we're talking World War III, World War famine, the collapse of every major government on the planet Earth, absolute energy crisis. I mean, you would not have gasoline. You would be freezing to death, burning to death, rape, robbing, murder everywhere. No, your phone won't work. You can't call the police. I mean, your little rations dried up. Now, I mean, all that spooky stuff. I mean, all that. You wanted to be like the Amish. I mean, like you see how you got the Lutherans and the Bruderhals and the Amish. They got their little cute farms and they got the sheep and the chickens run around and horses and you know what I mean. And they get the eggs early in the morning and they just live righteously and peacefully. I feel for them. Here come the white devils. Here come the Chinese devils. Here come the black devils. Here come the Hispanic Puerto Rican devils. Here come the everybody looking out for themselves. That's the mentality is going to be like, they came, they saw, they conquered. Like, step one, kill. I mean, pillage. I mean, eating your food, taking your fuel, taking your weapons, taking whatever tools, whatever resource, and moving on to the next. Going to other, you on the ocean, they come to get you. It's like barbarians, Vikings, pirates. That's the world that you're going to see in the future. A world of hellfire. I mean, and it's going to collapse once people wake up to the financial Ponzi scheme that's being used on the whole planet Earth right now. Now, back then, it started to collapse, but Allah in his wisdom was like, dang, this joint fall and collapse, black people going to die. And it's like, no, we got to spare it for one of the righteous. We got to make a way out. So the messenger's message guided us through the age of mess. You know what I mean? So the Recovery Act, relief, EBT cards, welfare, all these things is helping to stabilize the black diaspora right now. Because we got blacks over in South America, Central America, on the islands of Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, what have you. You know what I mean? But we're going to have to wake up and we're going to have to unite. Those that don't, you will not survive the war of Armageddon. Plain and simple. You heard it here. You will not survive the war of Armageddon if you are thinking outside of the messenger's message during that age of mess. You'll see. I mean, your leaders, the scriptures tell you, you're going to be praying to your monks. You're going to see people outside making salute. Oh, Lord, help me. Oh, Lord. You're going to see, oh, Jesus, please help me. No mystery God is going to do nothing at all for you. At all. It's going to dawn on you all this time. all of these people was believing in this fucking spooky shit. They gonna wake up. See, that's one beautiful thing about that hell. For 390 years of hell, they gonna endure. The sun is gonna be blocked out. That's how much pollution. The blood be up to the horse's bridle. It's gonna be a time of beauty for the angels. See, we could survive hell. We've been to hell. We was prepared for this. We was born for this. We are ready. Know what I mean? Now, in 1929, I'm gonna reread this part again, because look at the wisdom. Master Muhammad, like I said, he began teaching on Friday, July 4th, 1930. All right. The year before that, in October 1929, this is what happened in 1929 when the stock market collapsed. In 1929, when Wall Street went and collapsed, the white devil millionaires withdrew their money from the banks. Some deposited their money in Asia, so said the prophet, while others hid their treasures at home, because these big bankers could see what is coming upon the nations. So they and their treasures are fleeing to Asia Minor, trying to escape the coming fires of Almighty Allah. Now, let me give you some little angel prophecy. let me give y'all a little tidbit of this, as the Bible puts it, when Elijah comes. It's be a great and dreadful day. It's going to be great and dreadful. It's going to be great because using your God wisdom, unlike in the past, you could become a millionaire in 24 hours. You become a billionaire in 24 hours. But at the same time, you could become a pauper, a bum, homeless, broke, and desolate in 1 minute, in 1 second, with the click of a mouse, with the deletion of an account. I mean, think about that. Imagine, let's picture us in 1929. I ain't gonna say us. I'm a poor righteous teacher. But say, let's put it like this. Picture our greatest hip hop artists with millions and millions and billions of dollars. Picture our best NBA players, you know what I mean? NFL players, you know what I mean? You know, our R&B artists, our best politician, our best economists, you know what I mean? Our best teachers, the best politicians. Imagine them waking up tomorrow morning. Breaking news. The Dow just went crazy. The war just has been struck. A nuclear bomb just went off. Boom, man. The markets is panicking, this, that, and the other. And within, say, 4 hours, the rapper that had $50 million got $6.04. The drug dealer that hustled 20, 40 years stacking paper, all of his, I'm just using for example, say he got $10 million cash in the stash. And the government come out and be like, listen, the American government has collapsed. I mean, we want y'all to understand that the Fed just said inflation just is off the charts. A loaf of bread is like $7,000. Like they did in Germany, people have to put $40,000 cash in a trash can and put the money on fire just to keep their hands warm. That's what people are doing. Money don't mean anything. A $100 bill is not worth 1 penny. All the money you got, the government's like, that's no longer money. We're issuing food rations. Food rations going to come out every week. You get your food rations. The trucks will come around and bring water. The electricity must be off between the hours of this and that. You know what I mean? No civilian can have weapons. The government's taking all guns, all weapons. We will shoot you in your face if you don't give us your gun. I mean, yeah, y'all going to resist, but we prepared for this. We're shooting you in your face, taking everything. We locking this thing down. There will be a police state. I mean, you will not be able to walk outside your house beyond curfews. And when you're able to walk outside your house, you will have to go through military checkpoints, and those poles you see all on the streets that we set up, there will be military barracks set up, and your ass will be in these concentration camps. And this is welcome to the new world. I mean, now, it's going to be a stark reality to the 85%, the proletariat, the working class. And that's the sad part. That's why I don't pray for that day. The message said, the message taught us, do not pray for that day. It's going to be hell on earth. Know what I mean? We think we know hell, but we going to see some real hell. Know what I mean? And you have people that literally know these things. Now, I mean, you have 10% or the 1% as they commonly know. They literally is storing the seeds of the world in secret vaults under the ground, like the secret vaults of Mecca. You got rich people that literally they got underground cities. Now you go in the Soho, they got like malls down. They got underground granite mountains that they like, man, when this thing set on. But wherever you are, the Holy Quran teaches this. Wherever you are, death will find you out. Even if you're in towers built up strong and high. Remember, I got to find that old poem we used to have. We used to love this poem back in the 80s. We used to use this before we pencil somebody up. Be like, I'm just paraphrasing. This is the tale of an average man who acts contrary to Allah's plan. If you're reflected herein, then repent and commit no more sin. It was early in the morning at 4 when the angel of death knocked upon the bedroom door. Who is there? The sleeping one cried. It's the angel Israel. Let me inside. The man shouted to his sleeping wife, don't let the angel take away my life. You lived in this world 70 more, but you never fed the hungry and the poor. Nor did you heed the muathins adhan, nor did you read your holy Quran. We used to have fun with this stuff. We talk that deaf angels. I don't want to get into my deaf angels. I'm gonna stay focused right now. You know what I mean? But this happened, the prelude, when the 24 scientists put the period on, it's like, all right, the devil's time is up, 1914. We're going to give these jokers 60 years of grace, not to exceed 7. A lot of people sleeping on this stuff, but there's other people that's not. You know what I mean? So in 1929, when Wall Street went and collapsed, the white devil millionaires withdrew their money from the banks. Some deposited that money in Asia, so said the prophet, while others hid their treasures at home because these big bankers could see what is coming upon the nations. So they and their treasures are fleeing to Asia Minor, trying to escape the coming fires of Almighty Allah. Michael is spoken of in Jude, the 1st chapter and 9th verse, as an archangel contending with the devil about Moses. This is true. None of us knew much about the prophets until this mighty Savior came and taught us and is yet teaching us the truth. The American Bible pictures all of the prophets and the ancient worthies as a white Jesus. This is untrue. In this, you can see how the devil white man claims our great men of old to be his people. Thus said our Savior and Deliverer that Moses was a half original man, and he secured his commission from the holy city of Mecca in Arabia to teach the devils who were living in the cave in Europe at that time. Also says the Holy Quran, we sent you Moses. We, the black man of Arabia. See, we're not anti-Africa. We're pro the whole thing. I mean, see, the black man is the original man of Canaan and the Canaanites, the Persianites, Iran, Iraq, Arabia, China, India. That's all nothing but our folks. Now, I mean, brothers and sisters, so don't get it spooky. We, the black man of Arabia, to show the dispute concerning Moses, the devil himself does not know all about Moses or any of the prophets. The mighty one that was with us going in the name of Prophet Farad Muhammad, which I do declare unto you and the world that he is our long-awaited deliverer, or the second coming of Jesus. This does not mean the Jesus that was here 2,000 years ago, but the works of freedom, justice, and equality that he died for and what he prophesies that he would come again. Not him personally, but his brother whom we have with us today. None other than the prophet Fard Muhammad, who would be able to set up freedom, justice, and equality at this time and destroy all that do not believe. Remember that. All that do not believe, believe me, they will not even be around. They wouldn't even, when we say not be around, we ain't just talking about annihilation or the physical death. We mean that Allah's going to rid the universe of the thought or the memory of them. See, that's how the ancient Kemetic Egyptians taught. That thing is like, hell is, they're going to forget you. Like your family, your lineage, you're going to just be annihilated. I mean, like it'll be no remember of whatsoever of you. Know what I mean? That's what the Persians wanted to do with the Spartans. And that's why the Spartans is like, no, they're going to remember that a few stood up to many. I mean, you know, that the poor righteous teachers are going to always outlive the colonizers, the oppressors, the tyrants, the dictators, the wicked. Now, I mean, it's like the bullies of the world, don't be scared of them. I mean, you know, they're going to get that just dessert in due time. This man, Prophet Fard Muhammad, was born in the holy city of Mecca in Arabia in the year 1877. This man spent 42 years of his life in preparing himself for his work of setting up righteousness on the earth and to raise the sleeping dead, the ignorant 17 million original black people, the lost found nation of Islam. The prophet does not mean that we would be physically dead, but mentally dead to the knowledge and understanding of ourselves and of our fathers who made the earth and the heaven and all things therein. This man knows the Holy Quran by heart. When we say heart, your heart is your mind. You see? This man knows the Holy Quran by heart and tells the life of every prophet that appeared before him and their works from the cradle to the grave without consulting any books. See, when you submit your individual will to the collective will of Master Fard Muhammad and the 24 scientists and our ancestors and our ancient writings and our ancient traditions and our ancient cultures and our ancient spiritual sciences, your actual DNA, like in the tip of your finger, will be enough knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to master the universe. That'll be like, as the message put in Theology Time, you look at your little finger and ask your little finger, what's that wrapped around your little finger? I mean, it's just in you. I mean, you wouldn't have to think about it. I mean, like, I don't have to come with no books. I don't need a Bible. I don't need a Quran. I don't need my lessons. They in my heart. They're in my brain. I mean, they're in my DNA. They're in my blood. They're in my family tree. They're in my, it's like cause and effect. Now, I mean, like, I just happen to get this literature from my Aunt Ola Hassan. Thoughts of peace be upon her. I mean, she's just a thick or a thought away. I mean, so that's not unique with me. That's in you. That's in all of us. This is why the message said lost all of us. It doesn't take away the had or the oneness or the universe, the one word. Know what I mean? Allah. Know what I mean? He, she, divinity. Know what I mean? Not that the physical is anything. This is limited like a mug. You see this, right? This is the solar plex. Know what I mean? A mere child could push you in your solar plex and take you off your equilibrium. Know what I mean? But when you have that balance, attraction, repulsion, cohesion, assimilation, dissimulation, creation, projection, reception, and intuition, these 9 natural forces manifesting from the temple of God or goddess allows you to act in harmony with the time. See, the devil Albert Einstein, he looked at it like time is an illusion. Time is not an illusion. Time is created by motion. Now, what is the 7 universal black laws? The law of vibration is infinite. You can't have a cause without an effect. There never was time when time was not. Prophet Noble Ali, he taught that wisdom. I mean, our ancestors taught that wisdom. Our ancestors taught that wisdom. If the atom vibrate, that's time. Whether you know it or not is something totally different. Whether you're calculating it or not is something totally different. See, the ancient Egyptian, they give you that empty palm of the hand. Now, I mean, when the devils came over there, the Arabs and the Greeks and the Romans, when the Hittites and all of them came stealing and robbing and pillaging, they like, what is this mathematics that y'all talking about? See, they had this concept. Now, I mean, see, the Eurocentric, the white folks is like, mathematics is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, knowledge is not the first mathematics. What's the first number? There's only one number in mathematics, 0. Y'all, I mean, the messenger puts it like this in the Theology of Time. And now says Rob 1972 on the chalkboard, he explained to us, he drew a 0. And he said, this is our people. We're not 1, we're not 9, we're the 0. Nothing. So the white folks like, wait a minute. You dug a hole in the ground and you said that's the 0. Their brain they could not conceive it because they didn't know Islam. They did not know mathematics. They did not know See, they didn't know math. I mean, they didn't know Ma'at. So they didn't know the divine writings of the gods. They couldn't learn the lessons. I mean, they couldn't understand that holy mathematics. It wasn't for them. So they like, well, what does this, all right, 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, according to spooky people, according to the devil, not to the gods. I mean, the gods is like, where did you get the plus from? I mean, like, did you steal our Ankh and turn it into a cross? Is you trying to double cross the true and living gods by putting your Eurocentric linear mathematics into our circular mathematics? Is not our sun a 0? Is not our sun 360 degrees? Is not our sun round? It's not our blood cells round. It's not our skin cells round. It's not the earth we on round. It's not our moon a 0. It's not our moon round. It's not our stars round to 5 points, an arm, a leg, arm, a head. It's not the distance between each point on the flag of Islam, each point of the star, exactly 72 degrees. It's not the stars of the galaxy, according to Master Muhammad, exactly 72 trillion years old. It's not 72 times 5 equals 360 degrees or the perfect 0 or the perfect cipher. Do not we build in a cipher on a cipher because we are the cipher? We don't say what's the day's mathematics. Every day's mathematics. Every second's mathematics. Everything is mathematics. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, God. You see? So the messenger thing was this 0, let me put it like this. If I took and went to, if you take and put a 0, let me write on your mind for a second. Picture this. Picture a 0. Okay. You see the 0. Now, if I was to use the meta or the holy writings and put another 0 next to that 0, what do we have? We have 2 zeros. Wait a minute. 1 + 1 equals 2. But without the plus, the gods got 2 from a 0. 0, 0, 0 is 3 zeros. They got the 3 out of a 0. If we cut the 0 in half, we could get a half a 0. If we connect the zeros, we get infinity. We have a science here. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. The black man adds and multiplies, the white man divides and subtracts. So the Greeks and the Romans rejected the concept of the zero because in their brains, they was like 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 take away 0 equals 0. 0 times 0 equals 0. 0 divided by 0, 0 don't mean anything. That's why Mama said, don't believe that nonsense. Don't believe that Eurocentric concept of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The way the gods operate, the first number is 0. The first atom was a 0. It was 360 degrees. 360 degrees. It was a cipher within a cipher. And other ciphers, other zeros, other zeros, other zeros. The whole universe, 230 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. A perfect zero. A perfect cipher. Not perfect in the sense of a spooky way, but it's a perfect cipher. It's exactly 360 degrees. It operates in 360 degrees. Our solar system operates in 300. It's a 0. Pluto circles a 0. The Earth going around the sun, forming a 0. The moon goes around the Earth, forming a 0. The cycle of life and death, 0. The sperm and the egg, the baby coming out the mother, going back to the Earth, a complete ecosystem. Everything in the universe is nothing but cycles or systems or ecosystems or systems. It's mathematics, is nothing but a 0. You see? So here, in 1972, the messenger in his infinite supreme wisdom, he took a piece of white chalk and went to the blackboard. And he said, okay, you see the 0? Now, what happens to the 0 when we put a 1 next to that 0? The 0 now becomes 10. But if we put the 0 next to the one God, Master Fard Muhammad, boom! There's a spiritual resurrection. There's a mental resurrection. Those that were dead are now alive. Not that they physically came out of the graves, not that they was physically blind, deaf, and dumb, but they were spiritually not able to see the truth, hear the truth, or articulate the truth. But now they are the truth. They're not teaching the truth. They're not teaching the teachings. They're not seeing the teachings. They're not listening or hearing the teachings. They are a manifestation of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad themselves. They're not going inside of the temple. They're not going praying inside of the mosque. They don't go inside of the university or going inside of the school. They are the temple of God. They are the writers of the Bible or Holy Quran. They are answering their own prayers. They're not looking up to God. They are God. They are the goddess. This is the revolutionary universal key that we got to get, family. This is what it's all about. This is what I live, build, kill, and die for. Know what I mean? So the messenger shows us, you take and put that 0 next to that 1, you now have 10. But if you put the 0 on the other side of the 1, you have 1/10 of 1. Ooh, the messenger's message will guide you through this age of mess. You put the 0 next to the 1, you get 10. You put the 0 next on the other side of the 1, it becomes 1/10 of 1. There is no plus signs. There's no divisions. You don't need none of the devil stuff. We're talking mathematics of the gods right now. Know what I mean? We're talking the mathematics of Islam. Know what I mean? We're talking that mathematics that if the people understood this principle, this 0, 1, this right now what you see us teaching universally, this is zeros and one. This is binary code. I mean, your whole computer system is nothing but 0 and 1. I Che, Ife, Yin Yang. Our ancestors was teaching this stuff 76 trillion years. Don't let white folks think that smartphones are smart. Your brain is smarter than any computer. Your subconsciousness is smarter than any system. I mean, you know, you are the money. You are the money. Your DNA is the money. Your blood is your skin, your melanin is the money. Your hair your saliva is the money. Your sperm, your ovum is the money. You have people that will do everything. They will start wars to get your organs. They know who you are. You just don't know who you are. They be like, man, if they wake up. So the messenger in 1972 in the Theology of Time, he explained that science, the zero next to that one becomes 10. It increases its power tenfold. Now, how about if you put another zero there? It becomes 100. We talking linear mathematics. You put another zero there, it becomes 1,000. Think about this for a moment, family. How the universe operates. See, how you got here, how you're here right now, like what's happening inside your body right now. Now, I mean, those cells is using this principle. It's, mitosis, they like dividing and multiplying. One cell split, become 2. 2 becomes 4. 4, 8. 8, 16. 16, 30. That type of mathematics is how the atoms do. This is how the water molecules filled up the oceans and the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the point is what the devil did not realize, but he realized it now, but he didn't realize it, is that the real value of the zero, the nothing, the weak, the mentally dead, is that place value. That place value, when they get back on the throne, game over. Let me finish this up. This man knows the Holy Quran by heart and tells the life of every prophet that appeared before him and their works from the cradle to the grave, without consulting any books. He teaches us the past from histories, but as one whom seems to have been at the scene of the happening. Therefore, this shows that he was born for this work and not made for it by the schools. Remember, he tells what will be in the future, day by day and year by year, without hesitation in his words. He does not force anyone, nor does he argue with anyone. He does not force anyone, nor does he argue with anyone about believing what he says. He is independent about that. But he warns you sternly that he is your best friend and that we will face every word that he has told us. But we have been deprived of the wisdom and knowledge of ourselves for nearly 400 years. And this is the cause of our unbelief in him, in which we fulfill the scriptures where it says, quote, he came unto his own, and his own received him not. John, 1st chapter, 11th verse. His father was a black man, and his mother was a Jewish. Let me read that again. Think about this. Law of polarity, yin yang, opposites attract like repel, cause and effect. Ife, his father was a black man, and his mother was a Jewish. He has proven that he knows everything that we do and hears every word we say, or even our thoughts. He is able to communicate with his people in Asia without the use of wires or radios or any other instruments but his ears. See, we're not talking Wi-Fi signals and emails. We're not talking about text. I mean, that inner ear, that thin vibration, the law of vibration, 1,120 feet per second, depending on If you want to go through water, pine, steel, know what I mean? You know how to fine tune it and adjust it, know what I mean? But you can tune in, know what I mean? You can tune in consciously and subconsciously. Know what I mean? The message teaches us this is a science that the scientists taught the prophet Esau, Jesus, know what I mean? To help him protect himself from the persecution and murder from the Jews of his day. Know what I mean? It was like a radio in his head. Know what I mean? Like FM and AM, frequency modulations and amplitude modulations. Know what I mean? Magnetic waves. It was thick and thin signals that they able to send out. Know what I mean? You know, like a TV back in the days, ultra high frequency and very high frequency, UHF and VHF. Know what I mean? You know, it's nothing but thick and thin signals. Know what I mean? Without the right lesson, without the right mathematics, you'll get static. You close your eyes, you're not going to see what we see. Know what I mean? But when you're in harmony, when you're in tune, when that third eye's it's glowing, it's on. Know what I mean? The light is on. Know what I mean? The light is within. Know what I mean? That within, it's easy to see the light without. Know what I mean? So, he has proven that he knows everything that we do and hears every word we say or even our thoughts. He is able to communicate with his people in Asia without the use of wires or radios or any other instruments but his ears. He causes them whom he is communicating with to appear to you before your eyes in a glass of clear water. His wisdom is unlimited. He despises witchcraft and root doctors. They are all liars. They are all liars. And he teaches you how they deceived you and exposes their secrets. Now let us get down to his teaching. I am not able to pay for the publishing of a book large enough to tell you of all his great teaching that he has given to us, lost found brothers of his in North America. Assalamu alaikum. Elijah Muhammad, messenger of Allah. Love y'all. Struggle continues.